Okay guys, now that I've showed you the turtle basket outside, what I want to show you now is how I make these little set hooks that I use for trapper turtles, and you can also use these for catfish. So what you're going to need, you're going to need a good heavy string, of course. You can use this nylon twine just like here. You can use, actually I've seen people make one with baling twine. Seen people use a paracord before if you got a hook with a big enough eye in it. And anything that's going to be good and strong. You're going to need a good pair of scissors or a knife to cut that with. You're going to have a lighter, and the purpose of the lighter is whenever you cut, especially this kind of twine or baling twine or something like that, it tends to want to fray on you, so you can take that lighter and melt that down so it stays together. This is going to be your trap tag. This is nothing more than just a piece of plastic that I cut out of the milk jug. Of course, you're going to have your hook. This here, the way I put these holes into this right here was I did poke the holes in the beginning with the hook, but every time you do it, and let it sit for a minute, the holes kind of get smaller. Screwdriver is simply here for nothing more than just to kind of make these holes bigger with the Phillips head there. And the Sharpie is to go back and write on your tag. In some states, you have to have some kind of identification on your tags. Whether it be like here in South Carolina, you have to have your last name and your customer number. Some places you have to have they give you a permit number for the tags. For each one, you have to number. But mainly here, like I said, this is just to write your information on, and you'll need the Sharpie marker for that. So how I'm going to start making this is I'm going to go ahead and put my tag on. So I can kind of use this to make these holes a little bit bigger so I can get this tag on. There we go. Alright. So we'll take one end of this. I'm just going to run it through the front on one side and the back side come back through. That way it kind of sits flat just like that, and you can move it up and down your line, and you got a nice little place to write here. You can write on it first, whichever you want to do. Me, I try to get it put together first, that way I don't mess up and put the line on the same side with the writing. And then on both ends, gonna come up, and I'm just gonna make me a pretty good size overhand loop. And what that allowed me to do is just wrap this thing around a tree real quick and run the line back through it, and then bait it and drop it. Be done. So and that way right there, your hook, your bait, and your tag can all fit through there real quick. Usually I try to bait my hooks before I go. That way I ain't fiddling around in the woods. I don't have to carry a huge bucket full of rotten meat or stinky meat, that kind of stuff. And on this other end, going to do the same thing. And you just really need to make it big enough for the hook to go through. And that's a pretty big hook. So I'm just going to go ahead. And there's not going to be big enough. And always remember, it takes a little bit more line to make a knot than what you think it's going to. It's okay to make it a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, and to have a little extra you can cut off, than it is to not have enough to get around your hook and you have to cut it and start all over again. So, right about there, just like so. And the reason I do it this way is because I like to reuse these over and over again if I can. And for this purpose, this is a 10-aught Team Catfish circle hook here. Not what I would normally use for turtles, but it's all I have. I don't have any of the straight shank hooks that I would normally use. But I'm just using this one for demonstration purposes. But let's say, you know, I take and I put this one or the straight shank on there, use it for some turtle gigging or some turtle set hooks, and then I'll go back, pick them up, and the next night I want to go catch catfish, go set bank hooks for catfish. All I have to do if I set it up this way is swap the hook out, swap the straight shank hook out for this one, and I don't have to, you know, cut my line and retie it and all that mess. So all I'm going to do is put it on there just like so, and pull my line back through. Make sure you make that loop big enough for the tag to fit through. Usually if you made it big enough for your hook, you made it big enough for the tag in this situation. And voila. There you go. I mean, that's not going to break with a turtle. And like I said, you don't have to worry. You can swap this out, and there you go. You can make this string as long as you want, short as you want, just to fit your needs. And like I said, if you want to swap this hook out and put a different style hook on, all you have to do is pull that and then pull everything back through the loop like so. Make sure you get everything through it, and then all you got to do is pop the hook off and you swap it out. So that's the set hooks, guys. I'm going to go and set a couple of these tonight. Actually, hold on, let me show you. I've already got a couple ready. Let me grab one real quick. This is how I carry these into the woods. I'll have a real small bucket, but I'll go ahead and it's frozen right now, but I'll go ahead and I'll bait it and everything, and I'll just, you know, push my hook and all that inside of one of these little small Ziploc bags all the way down. I mean, I like to leave the tag hanging out, but you could, you know, you could go it all the way, you could shove it all the way down there. I just kind of leave this hanging out so I can just grab it and be done. But and go ahead and I freeze it overnight. That way I can just take it with me. I ain't got to worry about it being really messy the next day. Now I just unzip this, take it out, put the bag back in the bucket, hang this from the tree, drop it, and I'm done. It saves me, you know, 3 or 4 minutes at each set trying to put bait on them. Okay, guys, thank you. Hope you enjoyed this, learning about this stuff, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Hopefully, next week I can actually go and set a bunch of these things over the weekend and catch y'all some turtles, and we'll do the catch, clean, and cook video. Appreciate it.